If you're a researcher, you know the feeling, right? That constant battle of trying to keep up with the tidal wave of new papers coming out every single day. Well, today we're going to look at a really powerful tool that's designed to take all that academic chaos and make it crystal clear.
Okay, so let's just get right into it. The heart of the problem is something we can call research overload. The speed of discovery today is just incredible, but it's created this avalanche of information, and researchers, they're standing right in its path.
And when I say staggering, I mean it's almost unbelievable. Just think about these super fast-moving fields like AI or healthcare or climate science. We're not just seeing growth, it's exponential. For any one person trying to stay on top of it all, it feels less like drinking from a fire hose and more like trying to gulp down Niagara Falls. And this really hits on the frustration, doesn't it? The old school way of doing a literature review. Manually reading everything, taking endless notes, trying to connect all the dots in your head. It's just breaking. It's so slow, it's exhausting. And you know what the worst part is? You're almost guaranteed to miss some crucial connections, or maybe even overlook a super influential study that's just buried in all that noise. So, if the old way is broken, what do? Well, the solution is to take a totally different approach, to kind of shift our perspective on how we even look at all this literature. And that shift is called bibliometric analysis. So here's the big idea. Instead of just reading papers one by one, bibliometric analysis looks at the data about the papers. Stuff like who's citing who, which keywords always seem to show up together, which researchers are collaborating. It's kind of like creating a map of an entire research field, letting you see the major highways of thought, the little side roads where new ideas are popping up, and all the important landmarks. And that brings us to the star of the show, the tool that actually makes all this sophisticated analysis available to, well, everyone. Let's talk about VOS Viewer. At its heart, VOS Viewer is basically a program that takes all that messy, complex data and turns it into these beautiful, intuitive knowledge maps. It changes those boring lists of papers and citations into a visual landscape that you can actually explore and understand. And it does this with some really powerful visualization tools. You've got network maps to see who's connected to who, overlay maps to see how trends change over time, and even density maps to find the real hotspots of research. And what's crucial is that it plugs right into the major academic databases that you're probably already using, like Scopus, Web of Science, and PubMed. Okay, so that's the what. But how does this actually work in practice? Let's walk through the workflow and see how you go from just raw data to some seriously cool insights. The whole process is actually way more straightforward than you might think. You basically just export your data from a database, pop it into VOS Viewer, pick the kind of analysis you want to run, like seeing how different keywords are connected, and bam, the software generates these amazing visualizations for you to start exploring. It really takes the intimidation factor out of it. And this, right here, is where the magic happens. With these maps, you can immediately see the major themes in a field. They just show up as these obvious clusters. You can spot the most influential papers and authors because they're the big central nodes in the network. You can even catch emerging trends right as they're starting, way before they become mainstream. It's honestly like having a research superpower. So when we put all of this together, it adds up to a huge advantage. For any researcher who's trying to make sense of their field, this data-driven way of looking at things gives you a real, tangible edge over the old methods. I mean, the difference is just night and day, isn't it? You're going from a process that's slow, totally overwhelming, and kind of subjective, to one that's fast, manageable, and driven by actual data. And the point here isn't to replace your critical thinking, it's to give it a boost, to empower it by letting you finally see all the connections that were hidden before. So what's the bottom line for you? It means you can do literature reviews that are way faster and way more effective. It means you can actually see the gaps in the research, the areas that nobody's exploring yet. And by looking at those collaboration networks, hey, you might just find your next research partner. This isn't just about one cool piece of software. It's really about a fundamental change in how we approach this massive world of knowledge, and what that means for the future of discovery itself. Look, at the end of the day, we live in an age of absolutely exponential information growth. Tools like VOS Viewer aren't a luxury anymore. They're becoming an essential compass you need to navigate the huge, ever-expanding map of science. Which leaves us with one last big thought to chew on. We are creating knowledge faster now than at any other point in human history. The challenge isn't just about making new discoveries, it's about understanding the ones we've already made. So the real question is, as this explosion of knowledge continues, how are we going to map the next frontier?